Raj, meet your new partner.
I'm too old for this shit.
What's going on today, guys? So 2015 is just about officially over. Wow, I can't believe we're through a new year. It's incredible. I'm on my way to Maine tomorrow. So this is going to be the last review I'm going to be doing. And surprisingly, it's not a 2015 review. It's from 1987, and it is for Lethal Weapon. Now, yes, guys, as I stated before, this will be the last review that I will do for 2015. I probably won't be doing reviews again until next Monday, probably. I don't know yet, but it won't be until 2016 when I do my next review. I'm going to talk about Lethal Weapon quickly. This will probably be like maybe a 7-minute review. I don't want to really go in depth with it because I really need to start packing very soon. But guys, one of my subscribers, and I'm not going to mention his whole name because I didn't consult with him before I made this review, but his first name is Charles, and he asked me to do a Lethal Weapon review, and I thought I would do something very special for him. So this will be the last review of 2015 and my last Christmas movie season review. So Lethal Weapon, of course, stars Danny Glover as veteran cop Roger Murtaugh, who ends up being forced to team up with a young suicidal cop, Martin Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, and they obviously have some disagreements. One of them is a loose cannon who is just a suicidal man, and the other one is a family man. But they have to let go of their differences, and they have to work together in order to stop a team of drug smugglers, as well as finding out who killed this woman who was addicted to coke and decided to take a little jump out the window. Now guys, Lethal Weapon came out in 1987, the year before one of the greatest action movies of all time, Die Hard, and for most people is still the greatest action movie, but it came out the year before that. So, being at that time, its rival of the year for action movies was Predator. And this movie truly still is the greatest buddy cop movie of all time. Because almost every single other buddy cop movie that has been made steals so many ideas from Lethal Weapon. One cop being black, one cop being white. Cops who are just from different ethnicities or from different places around the world. They just don't agree with each other. That's really the criteria that Lethal Weapon set. We also have some very iconic villains, namely Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey, who just is, he's pretty crazy. And this movie, I think, is really before his craziness really set in. But I think that he did a great job. Let's briefly talk about Riggs for a second. Martin Riggs is one of the greatest movie characters of all time. Why? It's not just because he's a loose cannon. He has, yes, killed a lot of people, and yes, he is very violent. But in reality, he's a person who ended up losing his wife and is always contemplating suicide. There's a scene in his own home with his dog, which hilariously I think is a nod to Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, where he puts the gun in his mouth and he's literally crying. We can tell that he's a person who is contemplating on, should I shoot myself and be able to see my wife again, or should I just keep on living, which is what my wife would probably want me to do. It's so hard for him to make that decision, and it makes him so charismatic, and at the same time, we can relate to this man because we've all dealt with some type of loss. I really love Murtaugh's introduction to Riggs, which of course leads to,
I'm too old for this shit.
Hilariously, that line is one of the most misquoted lines of all time, because the line is, I am too old for this shit, and most people like to say, oh, I'm getting too old for this shit. And as their issues keep going, of course with the jump scene, they then go into this diner with one of my all-time favorite scenes. The intensity of the scene is just marvelous, and it's fantastic. And as the film goes on, they start to form a little bond, and their friendship begins to tighten and tighten almost every minute of the film. But the one cool scene in the movie is when Riggs takes Murtaugh out to the shooting range, and they're firing their guns, and then Riggs is showing Murtaugh, hey, look at this. And then Murtaugh's like, show off, I'd like to see you do any better than this. So he tries to take out his old piece, tries to shoot, and he's like, it looks pretty good. And then Riggs, of course, just moves it all the way back, and it makes a smiley face out of it, and he says,
Have a nice day.
And in the process, of course, Murtaugh's daughter sadly is kidnapped, and he has to go save her, and just everything gets personal. And that's the thing that we really like about Murtaugh, is that even though he has a family, he's very vulnerable because his family could be taken at any point, and he's going to do whatever he can to save his family. And of course, Riggs saves the daughter, but not before being completely electrocuted. And that scene is just so intense. But he ends up saving the daughter, taking out a lot of the bad guys, while Murtaugh takes out a personal baddie. And then, of course, comes the fight between Riggs and Joshua, and I'll talk about that at the end of the review. So nonetheless, guys, you know that I really enjoy Lethal Weapon. This is a great movie in general, and it's one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I honestly believe that this is the only really good Lethal Weapon movie in the entire series, because all the other ones, they have good parts in them. I'll say 2 is good, but 3 and 4, they have good parts, good moments, but a lot of them are just not as good. They tried to be too funny. The first one had a great blend of action, comedy, and thrills all wrapped into one, and it was a perfect blend of that. My only issue with the film that doesn't give it a perfect grade is the end fight between Riggs and Joshua. And to be honest, I don't really like this fight. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what are you talking about, man? This fight's epic. I just don't think it needed to be there. The only thing that Riggs said during that was, hey, you want to shout out the title? And then they just have this 3-minute fight that I just don't think needed to be there at all. The slow-mo kill was pretty sweet, but before that fight, I just didn't like it really that much at all. I thought if you took that out, it would have gotten an A+, for sure. Because other than that, Lethal Weapon is a timeless action classic that really will live on among the best of action movies. So guys, Lethal Weapon gets an A. So what you guys think about Lethal Weapon? Do you like it? Do you hate it? You somewhere in the middle? Well, I would love to hear your comments, so split them in the comment section below. And thank you very much, Charles, for recommending that I review Lethal Weapon. This is my final review of my Christmas movie season reviews. I will, of course, be back doing those next Christmas season. I don't know which films I'm going to talk about, but surely they're probably going to be good ones. I'll probably be talking about possibly one of the Die Hard sequels. If not, I may talk about it very soon. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This is my last review of 2015, and I really appreciate all the support. I now have 108 subscribers, so it worked. I got over 100, and I am so proud of it. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned.
Do you really want to jump? Do you want to? Well, then that's fine with me. Come on. Let's do it, asshole. Let's do it. I want to do it. I want to do it.
What do you mean?